Right, can everybody see that?
Yeah, brilliant, thanks.
Brilliant, great stuff. Thanks very much, everyone. Thanks very much, John. It's really good to be here this evening to talk about Smart Place. And I feel like I should start this presentation with a mission that I am not a traditional techie person, but I do have a passion and very excited about all the kind of tech that contributes to creating a better planet, whether that is through people or the environment or anything like that. And I started my career in the tech industry doing sales and marketing for a wildlife tracking technology company. And since then, have sort of continued with the role of being this sort of go-between or translator between the engineers, the sort of tech guys, and the end users. So this is how, what I'm doing here with my role at Smart Place. So as well as doing the marketing, I engage with a wide variety of stakeholders, particularly the different services within the council and the members of our R&D Research and Development Consortium, which I'll talk more a bit about later. And this engagement is how we bring the various stakeholders together to solve challenges experienced in our community. So what I'll be talking about today, so sort of go for anybody who isn't familiar with Smart Place, I'll go over sort of an introduction as to what Smart Place is, what we're trying to achieve, our bold ambitions, who our stakeholders are and how we work with them. And then the most exciting bit for me is the use cases or the challenges, we call them, that we're dealing with at the moment. And then I'll talk about some of the latest news about what's going on. So you may have seen the news about the Boscombe Townsdeal Fund, some Innovate UK projects we're involved with, and like John said, how you can get involved and find out more. So BCP Council Smart Place is on a mission. We are creating digital solutions to improve the lives of our residents, the vibrancy of our communities, and the prospects of our local businesses. So Smart Place is funded by Dorset LEP. We started a couple of years ago, and it's all about place and people. Okay, so people within the place, what differences can tech make? How can we provide, help improve communities and help support the communities using technology? So this funding from the LEP starts in Lansdowne. So at the moment, we are just coming to the end of our Lansdowne pilot project. So I don't know if you guys know Lansdowne or the area of Bournemouth. If you were to get off the train in Bournemouth and walk towards the seafront, you would be walking through Lansdowne, basically. And we have some funding we're starting to extend into Boscombe. So if you were to walk from Lansdowne to Boscombe at the moment, you'd see lots of guys digging up the road, digging up the street, putting in the ducting for the 5G and fibre networks that are going in. And like I'll talk about a bit more later about the Boscombe Towns Fund, we will be extending this project into Boscombe, and then hopefully fully rolling out across BCP and Dorset as time goes on. So how are we doing this? To make this happen, we engage with a lot of different stakeholders, okay? And a key part of my role at Smart Place is to engage with these stakeholders. So we've got frontline service providers, whether that's inside the council or different charities that are involved locally. So the YMCA, volunteers, the CAN network, different things like that. We've got our R&D consortium members, we've got the staff within the council itself, national government, educational institutions, Bournemouth University, Poole and Bournemouth College, and then of course the general public, because this is, for them, it's for everybody in the community. And there are a lot of different smart cities out there. And when I sort of joined Smart Place and was, being told about why we're different, we're doing a lot of clever and technical things with the 5G networks, and that's great. And if you have more questions about that, then my colleague Adrian is also here on the call, or you can get in touch with us that. But for me, it was about these frontline services. It's all about the place, okay? We have a council full of experts in their field. We've got people dealing with homelessness. We've got adult social care, children's services, everything you need. Everyone knows what a council provides, a lot of different things. And there are, a huge wealth of knowledge in those teams. They're at the front line, they see what's going on, and they know how that we can better support the community. And many smart cities out there are tons of them around, they're all creating, not all of them, but a lot of them are putting tech in for tech's sake. So you might often go to it and think, oh, we're a smart city, we've got free public Wi-Fi, we've got 5G, and then they'll go to a conference and say, look what we've made, we can do a smart ambulance. But maybe it doesn't actually get rolled out into the community. They show what they can do with AI and things like that. But what we're looking to do is we're looking to make develop solutions that make actual change in the community. And who better to tell us what the community needs than these frontline service providers inside the council? So we're maximising the use of this value in the council. And we're at the point now where, we're originally sort of going to different departments and saying, you know, how would you like to see tech help what you're doing? And we're at the point now where actually different departments are coming to the Smart Place team and going, oh, I have an issue here, or I'd like to change the way we do this. What do you guys suggest? What can tech companies do? What's the latest innovation in this field? And we can help them find those solutions. And by working with the local council, you know, we can demonstrate trust and entrench what we're doing in the local community and co-develop solutions that really drive value. So the next set of stakeholders that I deal with really regularly, and something that's going to be of interest to a lot of you here today, is our R&D consortium. So we now have over 50 registered members. It's growing every week, and over 60% of those are based in Dorset and Hampshire, and we're trying to sort of increase that number. If we were to add on London, then we'd be taking up, you know, if we were to just have the South Coast, we would be at sort of 70+%. And there are a lot of R&D consortiums out there in different smart cities around the world. I'm particularly proud of ours. We've been launching challenges over the last few months, and many of our members have been putting in a lot of time and effort creating proposals for these challenges. And, you know, we've got companies that deal with IoT, security, urban water infrastructure, emotional intelligence, you know, mapping emotional intelligence, engineering, networking, infrastructure, all the usual stuff, security, all kinds of different things, a huge range of stuff. And it's really exciting to talk to them about what they're up to and how they might like to get involved, and a huge enthusiasm for the Smart Place project, which is really, really wonderful to see. So as well as that, so we've got our frontline services, we've got our R&D consortium. How do we bring them together? Okay, so we've launched back in December, we've launched our challenge platform. Okay, so this is a web-based portal where we post the challenges that have been raised by the service providers, ready for the R&D consortium to go on and have a look at and to propose the solutions. And we're going to go onto the platform in a little while and have a look at the challenges that are there at the moment. So at the moment, we're focusing on 3 particular verticals. There are obviously lots of different things that we can think about, and we started off with a huge list of potential use cases and have narrowed it down for this funding pot, but we'll be continuing with those use cases and challenges as we move into Boscombe and do further work there. So healthcare and social services, mobility and transportation, and industry and logistics. These are sort of the 3 key verticals that we're working on at the moment. So firstly, healthcare and social, what challenges have we got at the moment? Okay, so these are challenges that we have seed funding for. So as part of the LEP, the Local Enterprise Partnership funding, we have about £300,000 to produce proof of concepts for these challenges, okay? And we're in the process of developing these at the moment. So we've got £300,000 split across 10 challenges. 2 of those are in healthcare and social. So we've got a challenge around using data to support quality social care, which is quite a bold title, but we'll go into more detail about that in a moment. And then tackling homelessness, which is our most recent one, and that was just launched today. So I'm excited to share that with you as well. In terms of mobility and transport, we've got challenges around air quality monitoring and intervention. The ones with the stars by them are to be launched soon, but they're not ready yet. So we're going to be doing a challenge around protecting cyclists. We've got highway network management, public asset monitoring, so that's around use of places and how we can be more efficient using places and to monitor those. Improving community safety, and waste management optimization is another one that's coming at the moment, and John knows lots about that one. And then the third sector, industry and logistics, we've got challenges around revitalising the high street, and we'll soon be launching a challenge around supporting tourism. Okay, I'm going to try and take us over to the Smart Place webpage now. Bear with me. Right, can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you, Phil. Okay, so this is our challenge platform. So we had this built by one of the companies in the R&D consortium. So basically, this is a platform for us to post challenges for the R&D consortium members to come and have a look, show their interest, get involved, download more information. They also have the opportunity to network with other R&D consortium members. So at the moment, we've got one active challenge, but I've listed all of the recent ones up here for you to see. And we'll go through, Phil, if we've got time, we'll go through some of these, if that's okay. Okay, so first one, some of these are managed by myself and some of them are managed by my colleagues. So some of them I know more about than others. But really, the first one that came about was this using data to support quality social care. And we basically reached out to the adult social care team and the sort of, and said, you know, what's the issue? And this has come up particularly with COVID around people that live at home alone, want to be independent, but want to stay in their own home, but don't want to feel lonely. And how do we ensure that these people are okay when the carers can't go and visit them every single day? And again, John's got some great stories around IT solutions and how that sort of technology has been used for this. But what they were saying is, you know, there are solutions out there that will monitor the temperature and humidity. There are systems out there that you can call friends and family if you fall over. There are all kinds of different systems that do different things. There are medication reminders. But what our health and social care teams wanted was something that brings all that together in a very single, simple package for people. And so what they were asking for, so they want to solve this challenge. They're looking for a 24-hour monitoring solution that will enable better communication and care provision for older and vulnerable people in their own homes. Okay. So this specification here was developed by our adult social care team. They worked together with us to say, look, this is exactly what we need. Take this out to the tech companies and see what they can do. And this website's live, so you're welcome to go and have a look around and find out more information. And they gave us, you know, supporting details about their, you know, their briefing papers, their strategies, what they're trying to achieve. And what our R&D consortium do then is they can register for it, for this particular challenge. They can submit an outline proposal. We then work with them and say, okay, this is the different parts that we need. Which parts can you do? And we bring companies together in a collaborative solution. Okay, so for this challenge, we're about to assign it. We've let the winners know that their proposal has been accepted, but we've got paperwork to this end. So unfortunately, I can't tell you who at the moment, but we have a company that is doing the IoT sensors. We have a company that is doing a background platform that will analyze the data that comes in and use that to map people's wellness and well-being. Okay, so how much are they moving? How often are they moving around? Things like that. And the combination of those things can trigger a message to say, okay, this person hasn't moved, they haven't put the kettle on, we need to get around there. Okay, you know, there's something going on here. This is some abnormal behavior. And then we've got another company that will be building a system where they can talk to their loved ones through their TV. Okay, so we've got a company that's joined the consortium recently, and they can basically convert any TV screen into a two-way, very, very simple, easy to use communication system. So they don't need to have an iPad or anything like that. And these kinds of things are really could change people's lives. So what happens now? So they've submitted their proposals. We will be notifying them the next steps. And what they're going to be doing is they're going to be creating a proof of concept. Okay. And we've got seed funding to help fund that. And that proof of concept will be taken into people's homes in BCP Council to do real live testing. Okay, and that's, you know, there's great value in being able to do that. So that's supporting data for social care. That one's closed now. So other challenges that we've got up at the moment, and we can certainly come back to these if there's any that are of particular interest. One that's been launched today is tackling homelessness. This one was really interesting for me because when I first spoke to the housing teams in the council and said, you know, what is it that, how do we solve homelessness? And to me, being exceptionally naive at the time, or, you know, do we just find places for people to stay? Well, that's not actually how you solve homelessness. It sounds logical, but actually the key is in prevention. How do we support people and help them and prevent them from becoming homeless in the first place? Okay. And so when we spoke to the team in the council and to the YMCA and to Shelter and St Mungo's, and they spoke to many of the other homelessness charities. We have a homelessness action collaborative in Bournemouth. There's a whole group of charities that all work together. And when I spoke to them and said, you know, what do you need? And they said, well, everybody's got a different system. Okay, so the council uses one system and St Mungo's uses another and the YMCA uses a different one. And when somebody has become homeless or is rough sleeping and they have to go and tell their story, they don't want to tell it again and again and again, because if something really traumatic has happened to them and they've been really traumatized on the streets, they don't want to have to tell that story 5 times. So they said to me, you know, the key is if we can make that process more integrated and make it work together, that is what's going to help. So we finalized this yesterday, challenge has gone out today, and basically we're looking for a software company to come help us with a proof of concept to integrate, share and analyze the data from all the different silos that we've got. So, and if we could analyze that data really carefully to see the sort of trends that are happening, you know, the set of scenarios that perhaps lead to somebody becoming homeless, then we can better have sort of prevention of prevention of potentially becoming homeless, and also perhaps reduce those repeat cases of homelessness as well. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to put this out there. So if anybody is interested in this challenge, you can certainly get in touch with me to get involved, and we're asking people to submit outline proposals. So we're looking for a system, data integration or case management system, traditionally it's called, to integrate with our existing systems, provide a data recording system. GDPR is really, really important with this because obviously we're looking after sensitive data. We would need to be able to restrict their access, be easy to use, and some unique insights. You know, I think this is where the innovation really comes into this, and all of the solutions that we're trying to create with the challenge platform, it's not stuff that you would buy off the shelf. It's something innovative, something new. You know, and we're taking a very collaborative approach. Let's bring some of these experts together to create something that hasn't been done before, so that we have, you know, it's real value in what we're doing. So yeah, we put this out there, and if anybody is part of a software company or knows a company that they think that would be really interesting, get involved in this. Like I said, we've got some seed funding available. We're looking for companies that would like to collaborate and get together on that kind of thing.
Sarah, can I ask us a quick question at this stage? Because I mean, this is really, really interesting the way you've set this up. Are there any sort of prerequisites to the sorts of companies you're looking for? You know, like location or size, or obviously skills is key, but I'm just trying to think, are there any other sort of, because it feels like I'm currently working in government, yeah, there's a bit of framework shenanigans going on there, but it feels like, you know, it's a really good way for people to engage in a really nice thing to do, you know, the proper tech for good type stuff. But yeah, are there any barriers to entry that people need to consider?
Not really. I mean, ideally, the more local you are, the better. But we can't, you know, if we've got, for example, we've got companies that are further afield, but they're really niche in what they do. For example, there's a company in the R&D consortium that designs and launches satellites. If there's anyone in Bournemouth that does that, let me know. We would, you know, pull them on board. But we don't have everything that we need here, but we would prefer to use local companies if we can. And also, you know, when we report back to the LEP and say, this is what we've done, we would love to be using local companies. And because that's part of everything that we're saying, right? You know, it's all about supporting the local economy. So no, there aren't really any prerequisites. You need to be willing to innovate. We can't buy products off the shelf. That's not really what we're doing. So, and you have to have a sort of open, collaborative mindset and be willing to work with other companies and to develop stuff that is going to make a difference, really. So I think we kind of filter out naturally companies that aren't interested in doing stuff just to help. And if you want to sell proprietary products, this isn't the place for you, really. So yeah, it's just having that sort of innovative, collaborative mindset, I would say. And yeah, if you're local, brilliant. So we've got other challenges around air quality monitoring, improving community safety, highway management. Let's have a look at this one. So this is my colleague, Xavi Nunez. So we've got an incredible team. I'll just stick this in here now. So Xavi was leading the 5G project in Barcelona. He's unable to join us this evening because he's busy working on our network. And we've also got on the team, we've got the ex-CTO from BT Global. We've got some incredibly talented people that are very, very dedicated and working very hard to help move all this along. And this is one of Chavi's challenges. And I don't know if you know Lansdowne, you know that there's been some improvement works that are happening along the main stretch. So if you walk from the train station to the beach along Holdenhurst Road, and it's quite a busy traffic area, and they're redesigning the whole area. And what they're looking for is to monitor the amount of people in vehicles to see, to look at high occupancy lanes and optimizing bus routes and bus frequencies and things like that. And this challenge is now closed now, but I know that Chavi's received some good proposals and is selecting one of those to go forward with. So they're looking to an integratable solution. So they've already selected a radar system. Basically, we have a radar system that we're going to be using, and they're looking for, we were looking for a company to receive the data and to, give us some really interesting information, create predictive models, do decision-making algorithms, and a dashboard for us to view what's going on in terms of vehicle occupancy, the number of high occupancy vehicles, air pollution, all kinds of things there. So like I say, you're welcome to go onto the platform and read more about this. This one's actually closed, but I just wanted to show you just as an idea of the sort of variation in the challenges that we've got at the moment. So the last one that I will mention, and this is one that was of interest to John as well, so is the public asset monitoring. And this again is a very broad topic, but we're looking, I think where the value for this one comes in is that we have a maintenance team who basically go from property to property continuously every single day. We've got over 5,000 offices and homes owned by the council, and visiting those properties and testing the smoke detectors, testing the fire alarms, making sure the Legionella sensors are working, checking the emergency lighting, all those kinds of things. It takes up a huge amount of resources and time. And if we can use IoT technologies and associated data analysis to monitor the buildings, we can really increase the efficiency of this and detect maintenance, potential maintenance events before they're reported. So, and that again saves time, if we're dealing with customer queries that are coming in and saying, oh, my hallway lighting in our block of flats isn't working, if we can get there before then and monitor that and record it carefully, then that will be really, really efficient. And it also saves time with reporting. So we have to do a lot of reporting for compliance, particularly with fire now, after Grenfell, unfortunately. But that means that we can really make the compliance that we need to do more efficient. So the public asset team, we spoke to them about this, and they were looking for things like emergency lighting, fire alarm function, but then also some of the property usage function, because, do we have more buildings than we need? Do we have more desks than we need? Are we at high occupancy? Do we need more cycling spaces? Those kinds of things. It's just all about efficiency and maximising the use of the assets that the council owns. And of course, what we don't want is to have lots and lots of different systems. Okay, so it's so easy that, we'll put a system in for this or put a system in for that. And actually, no, because that's where some of the issues are. And if we can pull it all together in one easy place to access all this data, then that just makes it simpler for everybody. And there's a lot of value in the data that can be achieved from that as well.
Sarah, it's John here. Sorry to interrupt.
No, go for it, John.
If Mr. Locke's on the call, but if he is, Sarah, you should definitely connect afterwards, because this is something that's very close to his heart.
Oh, okay.
IBM, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, yeah, if he wants to get in touch, it'd be great to chat about that. Brilliant. I think I went to the IBM office and they were talking about some of the IoT devices back in another job, about detecting room occupancy and stuff like that. And that was really interesting. And then opening the windows and stuff to get the temperature right and reduce the energy usage. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly that.
Oh, brilliant. Cool. Yeah, that was a great trip actually to go there. So I'll leave the challenges there. There's a couple of others sort of around revitalising the high street and using sort of VR, augmented reality there, but I'll leave those before I waffle on too much about those. Okay, let me go back to the presentation.
So while you're doing it, the sort of integration bit, you know, IT companies are all very interesting and they've got lovely skills, but they're not really renowned for working together nicely. How does that sort of integration bit work? Because that could be a risk to some people, you know, in terms of competitive IP and that sort of stuff. How do you, because that must be a nightmare to manage.
We're about to get to that stage, so I'll let you know.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, once we've sort of assigned companies to different parts of the challenges, you know, because that's what this collaborative approach is about. We've got an IoT people, we've got some data people, we've got some comms people, you know, trying to pull all that together is going to be interesting, but it has been done. So Xavi's done this before in Barcelona. And, you know, like I said, we're looking for the companies in the R&D consortium are very collaborative and open-minded, and this is seen, it's a development project, you know, it's not, oh, look what the solution I've got, let's use that. It's, you know, it is difficult, and I think that, you know, there will be some hurdles, and we have had the project extended. I think this is going to take longer potentially than we thought, but yeah, it's really exciting, and I'm excited to see how this can be done.
And so yeah, just another little, I'm off now, Sarah.
No, go for it.
So I'm trying to work out how the cost justification bit goes, because obviously there is some cost at some stage. You know, you do a proof of concept, then you have a development, you know, of a piece of software, if I've understood it correctly. You know, people would expect to get paid for that. How are you doing the sort of business case end of the commercial assessment, just out of interest?
So if we're, you know, inviting companies to come and join into a challenge, so we've got a certain amount of seed funding, and you know, I haven't really come up against too much problem with that. You know, if we say to them, okay, for the whole challenge, we've got say £25,000. Okay, what part of that does your bit do? And there aren't many companies that I've had to turn around and go, okay, you're way out of line. You know, people are being very generous with their time, and I think because this is stuff that is going to change people's lives, or it could change people's lives, and they're getting development out of this as well. So, you know, we've got companies that are developing whole new versions of what they're doing, or that's what they've proposed to do, are doing it at cost because they can see how this could have value. And I think it's something that they want to be part of. So there is a bit of goodwill in there, I think.
Very heartwarming, this. It's all very reassuring. Maybe I'm getting a bit cynical in my old age, but no, I mean, if it works, fantastic. What a great way of doing things.
Yeah, and that's why I think I'm so proud of all this and so excited to talk about it, is because it could be really, really exciting. You know, there are some incredible companies locally that are giving up a lot of time for, you know, for minimal money to see this work. And I think because they can see what the opportunities are, and to be, if we're going right back to the beginning of the presentation, talking about people and about we're going to the service providers, what we're solving here is stuff that people have said, this is actually a thing, this is what we want to see. So we're not just going, oh yeah, let's make a smart ambulance, you know, and then we'll talk to the NHS later. It's not like that. You know, we're actually going to people, where are the real challenges here? And they're saying, this is what we need, and then we're working on it. So I think that's, people see that approach and they're going, actually, that's a good approach. I mean, I might be completely naive about this, and we, you know, as we start getting companies involved, they go, hang on a minute, that's not going to work. But at least we're trying it, and it's okay to fail with this stuff. This is seed funding. This is what it's supposed to do. We are supposed to be pushing the boundaries and being innovative and seeing what can happen.
Yeah,
so
don't get me wrong. I'm not being critical. I was just asking. It's clearly in the purely commercial world, that sort of layer is a nightmare. But I think you're right. The fact that this is proper tech for good, and it's driven by an actual need, you know, people want to be part of these sorts of projects. And if you're dealing with the company owner who can make a decision about investing a bit of resource or a bit of capital in this sort of project, and it's just good. It's good PR, but actually it's just good. You know, there's no commercial justification for it. It's just good, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, even before we have, you know, awarded companies and said, right, your proposal's been selected, you go ahead, I'm being, you know, inundated with emails going, oh, I've spoken to this other company in the R&D consortium, and we're going to do this together. And oh, you know, Sam over there, well, me and Sam are going to do this other project. And just the actual, the holistic benefit in that is good as well, for companies to find other companies that they share those kinds of passions with. is really interesting. And coming from, you know, I've spent a lot of time marketing small businesses. They don't know how to get the message out there. They don't know how to find. So say you want a company that makes cardboard boxes. Okay, how do you find that locally if that company doesn't know how to market themselves?
Mm-hmm.
And actually then they help each other and they find each other. And so there's a whole excitement around that as well, about those sort of networking potentials. So,
should we open up to questions, Sarah, or is there other?
So I've just got a couple more, because I know this was all about exciting news from BCP, and I've banged on about the challenges, but I can give you some more news. If that's right. I'm definitely happy to open up to questions. So you might have seen in the budget last week about the Town Deal Fund. So basically, Boscombe has been awarded £21.7 million. Okay. And about 10% of that is potentially earmarked for Smart Place. Okay, so there's a whole lot of stuff going on in Boscombe, major regeneration, sovereign shopping centre, new commercial units, new homes, new public spaces. And so they've provisionally, fingers crossed, awarded about 10% of that to Smart Place for us to continue with our digital networks and also to continue the challenges as well, which is really, really exciting. So, you know, if we can get this and we've, you know, shown what we can do in Lansdowne, then we can take that to Boscombe. And we're already being approached by organisations in Boscombe that have challenges that they want us to look at when the funding becomes available. So that's really exciting. In other news, so we're also working with a company called Inquiring Minds, who are based in Southampton. Some of you might know them, award-winning company. They approached us because they wanted to gain some Innovate funding. So there's a whole bunch of Innovate funding that comes around, and this is the Sustainable Framework Grant, I think it's called. And they basically wanted to partner with a council to see what they could do. So we are partnering with Inquiring Minds on this economic analysis project, and that brings together data from business rates. That's what we're looking at, and basically other freedom of information data, bringing that together and doing sort of visualization and scenario planning for changing your business rates. So we're getting a lot of economic analysis from data, and that's what we're trying to do. And by them working with us, we can, again, talk to these frontline service providers in the council, talk to the economic development team and say, okay, what do you want this to do? And help direct the development that's coming through from this. And so we're co-developing solutions that can be driven and marketed elsewhere. And that's what this project is trying to achieve. So this is through external funding. This isn't through any council funding. This is Innovate funding. And if anyone's of interest or interested in trying to find external funding, we are willing to work with collaborative companies, like we're doing with Inquiring Minds, to do joint bids through the Smart Grants programme. So there's another round of funding that's open now that closes at the end of May. And, you know, it's not just down to us to hunt out funding, but you know, we're more than welcome to support companies that want to come and collaborate with us on these kinds of smart grants. And we've also got some departments of council that have come to us with challenges and said, you know, we've got this great big challenge, what should we do? And I said, well, it's too late for the challenge platform, unfortunately, and this is bigger than that. Let's try and look at Innovate funding. And what we'll be doing with that project, I can't say much more on it at the moment, but we'll be approaching the R&D consortium and saying, okay, there's this challenge, we'd like to collaborate with somebody for this Innovate UK Smart Grant. So we'll be looking at that moving forward. So we're still looking for companies to join the Smart Place R&D consortium. I mean, like you've seen, as we, you know, hopefully expand into Boscombe, there's going to be a lot more challenges coming through, different organisations and different departments in the council constantly coming to us and saying, this is what we want to see. So by being part of the consortium, you get access to these challenges. You get access to our 5G Wi-Fi connectivity platform. You can, there's regular updates from us, networking events, all these kinds of opportunities I spoke about. And like I said, like you were asking, Phil, just looking for collaborative, ideally local companies to get involved. This is some of the members that we've got already. But like I said, we've got over 50 now. And yeah, get in touch. I'm more than happy to take emails with any questions now. And also we've got a couple of the rest of my team here. So if I don't know the answer, I'll pass on to them.
So we've got...
Hey, Sarah, it's Dave Locke. Great presentation. And as Phil said, I love what you're doing around the collaboration. In fact, been discussing similar concepts in TechSolent. So I think it'd be really useful if we can pick your brains and see how we might be able to collaborate as well.
Great.
But specific question, I think the challenge, people come together, you got the seed funding, and the idea is to build out a proof point, like a proof of concept that it demonstrates how it can, what it might look like. Is that how far it goes? And the question really is, if it's the POC, what's the model for taking it, if you like, into production? Because there's normally quite a big difference from going from POC to something that can actually be utilized in the big wide world at scale.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure, to be honest. Adrian.
Yeah, that's fine.
my role is to sort of get the challenges ready and do the proof of concept and build this further. I think it's Adrian's baby. Is it Adrian to take this further?
Yeah, so I'm sort of deputy head of Smart Place for BCP Council, and what we're trying to do, is Sarah was saying, with some of these the challenges, failure is an option. They may succeed, but what it does, it gives us, the council, the opportunity to look at the development. If we see value in what is going on, then there is the potential that we might want to introduce those solutions into the wider council play. So we're, as a council, going through a massive transformation program. So we have the opportunity to look at things and we think, actually, if there's value there, then let's see how we can take it further. If there's not value, then we can say, well, actually, we tried, it's not quite what we want, but that doesn't stop the company from carrying on developing it into something that might improve it later on. So, they are proof of concept projects. It's the ability to be right at the cutting edge of technology, rather than some of the bigger companies that are, not agile. By working with the smaller companies that are really at the leading edge of stuff, and we are as well in some of our tech, it is incredibly innovative what we're doing. It just gives companies to innovate across technology that they would not otherwise be able to innovate across. And that puts, not only does it put BCP in a good place, it puts the site in a good place, it puts the UK in a good place. So there's plenty of potential. Some things will die, some things will live, and they'll carry on. And so that's how it will work out.
I think the key, Adrian, there, thank you for that. I think the key is around the different services being able to try stuff and have stuff bespoke made for them of what they need, ticking all their boxes, but they don't have to go and buy it and risk it. But we've got the funding for them to actually just try it and see what happens. And then, and hopefully, like you say, hopefully get it carried forward, because it could be really valuable to them.
Brilliant.
It was a really good sentence that someone said the other day. So I don't know whether it was an adult social care. They said, the market thinks it's supplied everything that we need. We've looked at the market and it doesn't supply what we need. And that's the good thing. If you go to the people that are working at the coalface, they know what they need. And, what Sarah's been talking about more than anything else is true value. And if you want to run a successful company, you have to know what is true value, not what, and you won't know that unless you go and speak to people on the coalface. What you're designing might be good or it may not be good. If you work with the people who are on the coalface, and that's why the Innovate UK bids are so interesting, then you'll be developing products that have true value that people will want to buy. And